Today I want to share with you the 3 most crucial traits that you need in order to quit your 9-to-5, pursue entrepreneurship, and attain financial freedom. What's up, guys? My name is Sal, and in March of 2023, I quit my 9-to-5, escaped the rat race to pursue entrepreneurship. Without further ado, let's get into the first trait, which is sacrifice. So when you're on this journey and you want to quit your 9-to-5, one of the most important things that you need to understand is that it is really, really important to accept that you're gonna have to make some sacrifices in your life in order to make that leap of faith. The journey of entrepreneurship is not an easy one at all. You have to understand that. Without making the sacrifices that you need, you're not going to be able to do it. You have to be willing to give up certain things in your life right now that aren't good for you and aren't going to help you on this journey to becoming a greater individual. For example, if you come home after work and you spend time just watching TV all the time, if you go home on the weekends and all you do is just zone out, go out for a drink, smoke up with your friends, just have a good time all the time, these are not things that are going to actually help you on this pursuit to attaining financial freedom, right? There is a reason everybody in the world is not rich. There is a reason everybody doesn't pursue entrepreneurship, and that's because 99% of the people do not want to make sacrifices in their life for the greater good. In my personal situation, when I finally realized that I had to take that leap of faith and I really wanted to quit my 9-to-5, I realized that I had to start a side hustle to begin with, right? As I mentioned in one of my previous videos. So what I basically did in my situation, once I realized, okay, I need to go home and start working on my side hustle in order for it to become my full-time business. So normally what I used to do when I used to go home after work, because I'm sure loads of you guys do as well, I used to watch Netflix every night, play a bit of my PlayStation, have a bit of fun, the weekends, just watch the football, switch off a little bit, right? So what I realized was, okay, I don't have time during the day to work on my business, right? Because at the end of the day, I have a job. Most of you guys also have jobs. And realistically, very few of us can actually use our work time to actually work on our businesses, right? I mean, if you can, that's amazing. I don't recommend it though, because you don't want to get sacked before you're actually ready to make that leap of faith. So what you have to do in that situation is very simple, right? If you come home at 6 p.m., for example, usually ask yourself what you do from 6 p.m. until you go to bed. So for me, from 6 to, I would actually come home from my consulting job at 9:30 because I was working crazy hours. I mean, it should have been illegal for how much money I was getting paid, but that's a little bit off topic. I would come home every day at around 9:30. I'd have dinner, put something on TV, play a bit of PlayStation, and then go to bed at around 11. So what I realized was, okay, I'm coming home at 9:30. What I'm going to do is I'm going to push my bedtime a little bit later. But now I'm going to take 10 minutes to eat dinner and I'm not going to watch any Netflix. What I'm now going to do instead is make sure that I dedicate those 2 to 3 hours that I have every single night on working on my business, right? That was one of the sacrifices that I made. Another sacrifice that I made was every Friday night, every Saturday, I'd always go out with my friends. I'd have friends over, we'd watch the football together, we'd have a good time, as you do, right? I quickly learned and realized that unfortunately, the time spent going out and having a good time with my friends had a very low return on investment, right? At the end of the day, I was wasting money and I wasn't focusing on my business, nor was I able to actually sharpen my mind and put myself into this consistent mindset of just working hard and grinding. So I had to accept that I had to sacrifice hanging out with friends, watching TV, doing all these things that had no benefit and didn't put me in a position where I was able to quit my job. There's going to be times where you're going to think, oh, is the sacrifice worth it? And can I really be asked? But you have to remember that you're sacrificing in the short term in order to give yourself a long-term better life. You have to sacrifice the now. Everybody has to put in that work at some point in their life to eventually reap the rewards. So the question that you have to ask yourself, and this will help you understand whether you're ready to sacrifice and make that leap or not, truly and honestly is, are you more content with just living the mediocre life that you have right now? Watching Netflix every night, going out with your friends on the weekend? Or does the idea of attaining financial freedom, cutting all of this out now, but in 5-10 years time, you're in a position where you can retire your parents, take care of your family, fly first class if that's the thing that you like, you know, drive supercars, you know, whatever it is that you want, right? But think bigger, like open your mind up and understand that if other people out there are doing things that you could only dream of, they don't only have to be dreams, right? You and every other individual in this world, we're all the same. The only difference between us and people that are more successful than us is that these people have put in way more work, right? And so if that doesn't motivate you to make sacrifice in your life and understand that you have to commit to this path in order to make it, then honestly, it's not for you, right? So if you're not willing to sacrifice, the honest truth, honest to God, you're not gonna make it. But that's basically the sacrifice element, right? The second most crucial trait that you have to acquire in order to quit your 9 to 5 to attain financial freedom is the skill that is consistency. Why do I say that it's a skill? Because honestly, most people don't know how to be consistent. Consistency doesn't mean working for 5 days and then taking 5 days off and then working for 3 days and then taking 4 days off. Consistency means putting in the work that you need to put in every single day, no days off. You have to work 7 days a week towards achieving your goals. If you're not going to do this, then you're not going to make the progress that you need to make in your life. I learned that very early on in my journey, because what I realized was when I wasn't consistent, I wouldn't see any progress. And I also felt like when I would take days off, when there were times in my life where I just didn't put in the work, what ended up happening was I would end up moving 1 step forward, 3 steps back, 1 step forward, 3 steps back. So in reality, when you're not consistent, you start feeling like you're not actually progressing. And that's not just a placebo effect. That's actually the truth. You're not going to progress if you're not making consistency, right? In my situation, something that really helped me was starting to implement a to-do list. Every single night before I went to bed, I jotted down all the tasks that I had to do the next day. I was not allowed to go to sleep or eat my dinner until I finished every single one of these tasks. A little tip on a side note, keeping yourself hungry actually allows you to work at a much more focused and higher level. So maybe starve yourself and see how much work you actually get done. But if you then have like stomach issues, don't come back and complain to me and say I ruined your like diet or whatever, right? But anyway, back on topic. So like I said, to-do list really helped me because what that does, one, it instills this sort of accountability to yourself where you're promising you yesterday that you're going to do the work today, right? And you're telling tomorrow's version of you that they have to do this before they can go to sleep, before they can eat food, all of these sorts of things, right? But consistency is really, really important. And the thing that's difficult sometimes is you may not see that immediate progress, or you may not see that immediate overnight effect, but over time, what I noticed in my life and what you'll notice too is that consistency in your life, that ability to put in the work and finish your to-do list every single day starts to just automatically ingrain consistency within you. Suddenly your work ethic starts to grow, and when you wake up, instantly you start thinking like, I have to do this, and this. I'm at a point now where when I wake up, I'm ready to work. Like I know I have to do all these things, and it's not daunting anymore. It's not difficult. At the start, it can be a little bit, but if you're able to understand how powerful the compound effect is, then consistency will be something that will be very easy to implement into your life. To touch a little bit upon the compound effect, I mentioned this in my previous video where I talked about the 3 biggest mistakes that I made, and one was taking my foot off the gas, right? Essentially, the compound effect is if you put in the work every single day, you're gonna see that snowball of success. It's like going to the gym, right? If you go to the gym for 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, and then you take a month off, you're not gonna see any gains, right? But if you go to the gym every single day and you work out for 6 months straight, you're gonna see huge gains, and you're gonna start to see the progress that you were looking to make, right? So trust in the process, understand that the success will come over a long period of time, as long as you're consistent and accountable to yourself about this. So to summarize the 2 of the 3 traits that we've discussed so far, number 1, you have to be willing to sacrifice. Without sacrifice, no gains, okay? Look at the bigger picture. Understand that you have to change things in your life right now. Certain habits, certain things that you do, maybe your social life, guilty pleasures that you have. You have to eliminate these. You have to sacrifice these for your greater good, for the long-term success that you truly want to achieve in order to attain financial freedom and quit your 9 to 5. The second of the 3 traits that we discussed was consistency. You have to be consistent. You have to be willing to put in the work every single day. You have to be accountable to yourself and understand that the compound effect will eventually yield its returns based on the consistent output that you put day in, day out over a long period of time. Resiliency is essentially your capacity to withstand and your ability to recover through difficulties. There are going to be moments in your journey where you're going to feel down, where obstacles come in. There are going to be moments where you feel like all the work that you're putting in is not reaping the benefits yet, right? In moments like these, it is really important to remember what your bigger vision goal is. What do you want from your life? You have to be able to power through these resiliency. You have to be able to power through these difficult times and obstacles that you face in your life. Every entrepreneur and successful businessman or any successful person in any element of life will tell you that resiliency is a norm of life, right? There are always going to be times in your life where you go through difficult times, where you're suffering with obstacles, where you just really, really want to quit and just go back to the person that you used to be. Changing yourself as an individual and making that transition into being the best version of yourself and attaining financial freedom is not going to happen overnight, right? If you think about it like this, and the way I used to look at it was, for 22 years of my life, I had a certain way of thinking. I had a certain mindset. I used to think that my life was all about get my degree, get my job, work until I retire, and then like that's the end, right? It wasn't easy to make that mindset shift. There were a lot of days where I didn't see the progress. I was very used to instant gratification, which a lot of us are very guilty of, right? And so reprogramming my mind, understanding what the bigger picture was something that took a lot of time. To give you my own example, for the first month when I started Etsy dropshipping and I was still working my 9-to-5 job, I didn't make any sales for the first 2 weeks. I was working every single day, coming home exhausted, less hours of sleep, no fun in my life whatsoever, and I wasn't seeing the results, right? But I had faith, I stuck to the vision, I had belief that I would be successful, and so I knew that I had to power through to get to the other side, right? Took me a while to see success, right? Like I said, for the first month I saw no sales, then I made some sales and I was happy, and then I didn't, make the money that I thought I would make or that I wanted to make, and I saw so many people around me making a ton of money and I didn't make it. But at that moment in time, if I had just given up, then, I would have just been back to square one, back to my miserable job and nothing else to show for it, right? You have to look at resiliency and reframe it, right? Like, you may be listening to this or watching this and thinking, like, yeah, you're telling me to be resilient, but it's easier said than done, right? Like what if things are really going wrong and, it's just easier for me to just take a break and chill out and just, go back to my old ways? If you're able to reframe resiliency and the difficult times in your mind, and you're able to look at those as opportunities of growth and understand that that is making you a more well-rounded person and a better individual, then you're going to be successful. You're going to be a better person as a result of it, and you will go far in life. As long as you reframe resiliency, don't look at it as a negative thing. Don't look at those difficulties in your life as things that are holding you back and things that suck. Instead, use it as fuel to push you. Use it as a skill developer. Use it as something to make you a better person, to make you the person that you want to become, right? Resiliency is a really, really powerful trait to have, and 99% of people don't have it. But if you can be in that 1% who can power through the difficult times, there is no reason why you can't quit your 9-to-5 and work towards attaining financial freedom. To summarize this topic in a nutshell, today, I've discussed with you the 3 most crucial elements that I learned in my journey were the most important things in order to make that transition from quitting my 9-to-5 to pursue entrepreneurship and attain financial freedom, right? Number 1, sacrifice. The things that I sacrificed in my life at that time, before March of 2023 when I quit my job, are now things that I don't even care about in today's day and age. Like, I am now on this pursuit of just wanting to be the best version of myself, and I am so grateful that I cut out some of these vices in my life, because my life is much better for it now. And if you're willing to persist, if you're willing to fight through the difficult times, you're gonna see that making sacrifice is also gonna improve your life. The second thing that we mentioned was consistency. This is gonna build a work ethic within you. It's gonna increase your drive, your ability to work more hours in a day for yourself, and you're just gonna become this workhorse who other people look around you and take inspiration from you as, right? That's what life's all about at the end of the day. Inspiring others to become the best versions of themselves and aspiring to be the best version that you can be possible as well, right? And the third thing and final thing that I mentioned was resiliency. You have to fight through the difficulties and obstacles that come through in life. You can't give up. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't sympathize for yourself. Don't pity yourself. Don't look at other people and think, oh, it's easy for that guy. Like, he's got a good life and I don't. Like, fight through it. Be resilient. Always keep pushing and you will see success. I promise you, if you adopt these 3 traits into your life and instill them into your mind, you will go a long, long way and be able to make that leap of faith from your 9 to 5 to entrepreneurship and eventually hit those financial thresholds that you're looking to achieve in your life. That's the end of the video, guys. I hope you took some insights. I hope you learned some things that I shared with you guys. If you did, leave a like, subscribe, comment below letting me know what you think. Are there any other crucial traits that you guys think are important? And one final thing from me, I recently launched my private community, which focuses on finding purpose, attaining financial freedom, and finding fulfillment in your life. If you're an individual who feels like you're missing that little something in your life and you're looking for a group of like-minded individuals to become the best version of yourself, take that leap of faith and quit your 9 to 5 to attain financial freedom, make sure you check out the link in the description, and I will see you in the next video.